what's up, folks? Welcome back to another 3D Hangouts. My name is Noel Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit. Joining me every week is my brother Pedro. Hola, hola. I think your mic might be off, Pedro.
So
there you go. Yeah, that's it.
I'm Pedro, Creative Tech here at Adafruit, and every week we're here to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right. This is the show where we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to make inspirational projects. Hello, everybody.
Boom. No. Boom. Wait. Why is this one here too? I don't need this.
Weird. Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. Yep. A little bit of a shuffle with the StreamYard. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're streaming live on all the usual networks: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Not Twitter, Twitch.
Twitter. No,
Twitch
Twitter.
and X. No, I just got confused with Twitch because I was trying to say Twitch, but my mouth wanted to say Twitter. Anyway, hello, everybody. It is episode 525. It is Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. We're hanging out in the Adafruit Discord channel. If you want to hang out with us there, you can join us. The URL for that is at the top bar that I'm going to put up here. Discord.gg/Adafruit is the URL for our Discord server. You can get invited there and join the many, many people that are hanging out there 24/7. This is a good spot where you can chat with us during the show. We are also able to bring in chat comments from the various networks that we're streaming on. We'll take a couple moments to welcome folks to the show. We got some coffee. We got a new project. We got lots of prototype progress on our prototypes. We got a time lapse, and if we have time, I have a bit of a prototype of a new component that I have my eyes on. Yeah, so we'll get some shout outs to folks that are hanging out and chatting with us in the Discord. So far, we got Dew Wester hanging out. And hello, good morning. Let's go ahead and jump over to adafruit.com/free and find out what is free going on this week. We have 2 items here for orders of $99 or more. Folks, you're going to get a free PCB coaster with the golden Adafruit logo. And if your order is at $199 or more, you get the PCB coaster plus free UPS ground shipping for the US only. While you're at your checkout, you can use our coupon code that is good for the next 24 hours. It'll get you 10% off your order. Tetramino is this week's coupon code. Tetramino.
Oh my God.
Which is is the technical name for the shapes in the legendary game of Tetris, which we're going to talk about.
Tetris.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here erasing files that I do not need because my time-lapse storage is full.
Oh, no.
So it's the perfect time to...
It is the perfect time, isn't it?
Delete all these old files.
Mm-hmm.
I could have sworn I deleted these on my phone, on the phone app for this.
That's fun.
Try again.
While you're doing that, I'm updating the firmware on my printer, and it has some sort of prompt. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll have to wait. All right, let me jump into this week's project. Here we go. All right, this week's project. We are finally releasing the MIT Green Building Tetris inspired project. So 3D printed building. It got a bit of an upgrade. Now we have some really fun details here in the top of the roof. We have the radome, which is the radio. It's kind of dome that the students use. We have like an antenna and a little building here. I can't get the focus to go, but it's fine. And it just adds a lot of kind of detail to the building itself. So it's a portable project. We got a 1200 milliamp LiPo battery in there. You got an on-off light switch at the bottom. We have a little Stemma QT cable that comes out in the front here so that you can attach the Gamepad Stemma QT Joy controller, Gamepad. So at the start of the game, it's a start. It also paid reference to the website, Interesting Hacks to Fascinate People, IHTFP. That is the name of the website that is a bit of a blog of MIT that documents old MIT hardware. So the way you start the game, you got to start in a stop here on the 3D printed case. So you can use these little button resets. So you can start playing the game. Use the joystick to move your tetromino left and right on the grid as it moves down. You have the different shapes that are colored. The LEDs are NeoPixel Pebble strands, which we've used in the previous project. They're really easy to use, and they're great for making these custom LED matrices. We also have a piece of black LED acrylic that's sandwiched in between the diffuser, or rather, it's in between the grid and the LEDs. That way, you get really nice glowing effect diffused LEDs in this project. Yeah, it works like a normal Tetris game. You can use the A button to rotate, and then the B button to make it drop down instantly. And as you fill in rows, they'll clear out. They'll flash white like that. They flash white, drops down, and then when you end the game, or actually, let me do pause. So you can use the start button to pause. You'll get a little pause here, and it'll tell you how many rows that you have cleared so far. It says 3 rows cleared, or maybe just paused. Okay. When you finish, it'll say how many rows you cleared. And then you can resume at any time when you hit the resume button, the start button. And then when you end the game, when you lose the game, the whole matrix flashes red or white. And then it tells you how many rows you cleared. It says 3 rows cleared. And then I think it says it twice. And then it asks you if you want to restart the game again. Yeah, it's a pretty simple game of Tetris. It doesn't have any like levels, so it doesn't advance, because we're hoping that folks can use this as a starting point so that they can expand on it. So if they want to scale it up to have more LEDs, more grids, you can do that. You have it's running off of the Feather RP2040 Propmaker. So that means it has a built-in amplifier, so you can add a speaker. You can add various buttons controls. You can create a different gamepad controller if you want. You can add a doubler. So if you wanted to add like a Wi-Fi coprocessor, you could keep score on a server or Adafruit IO. Lots of fun different things you can add onto it. We're hoping that folks, make their own spin on it. It's a really cool way to kind of experience the Tetris with this like nice physical build here. You can, of course, create your own grid with the pebbles as well. The NeoPixel pebbles are really easy to work with. They're very flexible, and they come in different pixel quantities and different pixel spacing, so you can create your own cool grid like this. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Pedro, if you want to take a question on YouTube while I play a game here.
I am fighting with the US.
Okay, no worries, no worries. So you can just let this. There you go. Question: I'm going to try this, and I wonder, would you make a billboard? Yeah, last week's project is kind of a billboard, right? Where it's a visualizer for MIDI notes, but you can definitely use that build and use Claude code or write your own code to make it display sprites or text, that sort of thing. Yeah, you can totally do that. Yep, that's a really cool idea. Just to make a billboard. You could also run WLED on your matrices, so you can just do some really cool like visual effects as well. Yeah. So I really like how this came out. The code is written by Liz Clark, who collaborates with us from time to time on projects. So she wanted to write it up. So she wrote up the code, and she wrote the code walkthrough as well. And I focused on the assembly and the design of the 3D printed building, which pretty much resembles the building. For folks that haven't been watching in the previous streams, this project was kind of inspired by this website that I believe is called Map to Building or Map to CAD, something like that, right? It's this website where you can get 3D models that are printable ready. They're even multicolored printable ready for various like campuses. Like if you wanted to 3D print the Disney park or a model of the MIT campus or something else. It's a really interesting website that is meant for these models to be 3D printed, particularly they're, watertight meshes that are ready for printing. So we thought, let's not take the model from there, but, reference that model. And this is the Green Building, Building 54 at MIT. There's a couple different buildings at MIT, right? This is particularly Building 4. Back in 2012, MIT students installed RGB like Wi-Fi connected lights into every one of the rooms that are multicolored, and they were able to play Tetris. This past for the Boston Marathon, MIT students were able to like make it work again because it stopped working for several years. So it was really nice to see some footage from one of the students that showed it working. So imagine this like huge, humongous building in Massachusetts at MIT that was playing Tetris, where the students were playing Tetris. Pretty cool. So that's kind of the backstory of it. It was really fun to put together, really fun to work on. Big fan of Tetris. First time working on a Tetris game. Okay. Over to learn.adafruit.com. You can find the Learn guide that we published, I think, yesterday evening. So the overview page just has a little bit of info of the game. Of course, it is running off the Feather RP2040, which is great for these type of projects because it has a screw block terminal, has a built-in amplifier. It has the circuitry for powering a bunch of NeoPixels, which is what we're doing here. And of course, it has the Stemma QT port, so you can connect sensors, and in this case, a nice little gamepad, so you don't have to solder up like a bunch of buttons to make a game controller. Really cool. So all that stuff's available. If you find something out of stock, like the mini gamepad, you can always sign up to get notified when they're back in stock, or you can check out our many distributors at adafruit.com/distributors. You could also look at DigiKey. Let's see if they have any in stock, but yeah, that's how you can get the stuff. We got a battery here. You can choose kind of any kind of battery, but I do have a specific battery holder that's built into the bottom cover. It's designed to be to fit around the 1200 milliamp LiPo battery, which we have in stock here. Just a couple fasteners too, some steel machine screws to attach the slide switch holder and the feather, because sometimes screws are the best for these type of projects. As far as the circuit diagram is concerned, pretty simple. You got 3 wired connections for the NeoPixel Pebble Strand, and then you just plug and play the Gamepad Stemma QT over the Stemma cable, and then the battery just connects to the battery. So it does have onboard, the Feather does have battery charging, so when you plug in USB-C, it starts charging the LiPo battery, which is really nice. You also got a slide switch here that's connected to the enable and ground pins on your Feather. And that just lets you turn the circuit on and off, but you still get the ability to charge while your project is turned off, which is really important. On to the CAD files. Got a couple GIFs here showing how all the parts fit together. You are going to need a fairly large 3D printer because this is a building. We're printing a desktop-sized building, right? So we're going to need a printer that's at least 250 by 250 by 250 because that's how tall. Kind of when I design a big project, I want to make sure that it fits like the bed size, the build volume of my 3D printer, which happens to be the Bamboo X1C. We also got a little snap fit case for the gamepad. So that's the first time I've made a case for it. Pretty simple 2-piece thing that just snaps together. It's got those little corner clips, so there's no screws necessary for securing the gamepad PCB to the bottom cover there. So, yep, you can download the CAD source files that come in 2 formats right now. It's the Fusion file, Autodesk Fusion, and then, of course, the step file, which works in open source software like FreeCAD or Blender, which is nice. There's a little picture of the build volume. I was able to fit the front panel and the building on the bed, so that's nice. And then another thing that's kind of important is this is a piece of acrylic. We do sell the acrylic, but it is sized fairly large. So we sell a 12 by 12 inch acrylic panel, but because this is a custom design, you kind of need to cut your own acrylic. So you can either laser cut that or use like a scoring knife and a safety ruler to cut your acrylic, which I did. And we have an SVG here, so you can print that out, put it on your piece of 12 by 12 acrylic, and then just kind of use your scoring knife to cut it. So you don't need a laser cutter or a CNC machine. You can just cut it with like a standard acrylic cutting tool, a scoring tool. Okay. So it's important to update or install the latest version of CircuitPython onto your Feather. So this page just walks you through that. Very straightforward. We're on the latest version of CircuitPython is 10. So you can install. CircuitPython. Whoa. Getting some echo.
That me?
Yeah. Hello. Okay, I think it's good now. Okay, moving on from the install CircuitPython page, moving over to the code page. Again, shout out to Liz Clark for putting together the code for this one. You can download the project bundle, which will include all of the important libraries that are used in this project, particularly, what do we got here? We got the bitmap font library, display text, pixel frame buff, the seesaw library, and Adafruit Tix, which does timing stuff. So this just walks you through installing, the libraries and all the code. Again, you want to use the download project bundle because it'll just grab all the necessary libraries and font. In this case, we're using a little bitmap font here, so that's how we're able to do the text that scrolls. It's the Tom Thumb font, which is a bitmap font. So just want to make sure you get all that stuff with the project bundle. This breaks down how the code works. So if you want to do any modifications to the code, you can change the number of pixels, the brightness, the pins, the pixel order. If you're using a different style of NeoPixel, you can change that up. Here's how the gamepad is working. We got the tetrominoes here set up, setting up like a sprite. We got some game logic, non-blocking text here, and then the loop, and then pause, resume, and then of course game control, game ticks. So you can check all that out. It's all nicely broken out for folks. Onto the wiring. This page just walks you through soldering up some wires to the slide switch, and then onto the Feather. And then we work on the NeoPixel strip, which is the Pebble strand. So you want to cut off the stock cable because that doesn't fit this project. So we're creating a new cable here, and this just walks you through getting a nice silicone covered stranded wire for your NeoPixel strip. And since we're using the 200 NeoPixel count strip, this project only uses 117, so you get like 83 extra ones that you can use in another project. So that's nice. And then once we got all that started up, we're gonna work on the assembly. I'll start off with cutting the piece of acrylic. I actually just purchased these tools here. This is a scoring knife. I got it from Amazon, and this is really nice. They actually have safety rulers that have a guard so that you don't cut your fingers. So, and it also has a nice kind of a rubber bottom that grips onto the material. This is really great. Like, just search on Amazon for acrylic cutting tools and you'll find this. I didn't want to link it because you never know when a supplier stops supplying it. So pick whatever one you want. This is like a 12-inch safety ruler that's made out of aluminum, and it has that nice grippy bottom that kind of clings onto the material. Really, really nice. It definitely beats using a power tool. I've cut pieces of acrylic before on a bandsaw, on a table saw, and sometimes it can get gummed up. Sometimes it cracks your acrylic. The scoring tool is like the best way to get nice, clean cuts. So be very careful when cutting acrylic. As far as installing the LEDs, this is going to be the most time-consuming part because there are 117 NeoPixels that you want to pop into these little pill-shaped slots, holes, whatever you want to call them, into the grid. This was the easiest way that I found because you're not having to historically when you use like a PCB, a flex PCB NeoPixel strip, and then you got to like create multiple strips, and you have to solder all the strips together. This does away with all that, and it's just one long strand, and all you got to do is pop them in to the little circles on the grid. It is time consuming, but that's the best way to get a custom NeoPixel, display, a NeoPixel grid, a NeoPixel LED matrix. So I'm really loving this because it makes it so you can make any sort of shape too. And it's non-destructive as well. So they're not actually glued. They're just held in by friction. And the little pebbles are like epoxy coated. So they're really strong. They're a little weather resistant, but they're not like waterproof or anything. And then I think it's just PVC coated wires that are fairly flexible, very forgiving. I actually, if you could tell here, I actually spliced two strands together because I wanted to reuse the leftovers that I had from the previous project that I did that was pretty similar to this, but it was just a different orientation, a different grid. But it is in a zigzag pattern, so this long text here just walks you through the order and where your first NeoPixel needs to start. So after all that, you definitely want to take your time doing that. We'll assemble the grid with the piece of acrylic in the front panel. Front panel gets installed with the shiny side facing up because that's the way I like it. You can also do it the other way around. If you like a shiny side facing down, you can do that if you want. The matrix then just gets installed in front of the front panel there. The front panel gets installed into the building with this kind of like a rail kind of thing that holds it so it doesn't pop in or out. So there's a little built-in rail that the front panel slides into, and then it just stays in place because of that rail. And then we can install the switch holder. The switch holders are kind of tried and true little add-on that we just keep reusing in different projects whenever we want to use it. It just makes it so that it's easy to install the slide switch, and it's very modular so that if you ever want to like put this into a different project, you just reprint the thing and just use the same mounting holes, and then you expose it into whatever cover you want. In this case, it's the bottom cover, and that's where you would use machine screws to attach the switch holder to the bottom there. And why not have it in a different color so it kind of actuates it a little bit, right? It adds attention and focus to like where you actually turn it on and off. So there's that, and then the feather just gets secured to those built-in standoffs on the bottom cover with those two M25 screws there. Yep, and then the battery has this clever little installation. It has a little battery holder, and then there's a little retainer clip that slides over the battery, and it has these little grabber nubs that will hold the battery in with friction, so there's no glue needed, there's no mounting tack, there's no double stick tape, which I've done before, but this is a really nice solution, and folks seem to think it's a clever solution. After that, once we got our feather and our switch and our battery installed, then we can connect the three cables, the three wires from the NeoPixel strip to the screw block terminals. So just want to reference the circuit diagram for this, and then just put those in the right screw block terminals, install the gamepad into the case, connect the gamepad. I'm using the longest Stemma QT cable just because you never know how long you want to play, your building is. You want to have the longest cable, and in our case, it's a 400 millimeter length cable, and then connect that up to the various ports, and then do a quick play test before we close it up. Make sure the wires are all fitted inside. There's plenty of room inside the building for the cable and the excess Stemma QT cable if you want. And then there's a little notch that's built into the bottom of the front panel, or rather the bottom of the building, where it's designed and sized specifically for the flat Stemma QT cable. This was kind of the last minute thing. This additional part, the rooftop, instead of making it like a one piece, I split it in half into a two piece thing. In case folks don't want to add this, they don't have to, but it's basically the top cover has the snap fit stuff to snap fit into the building. And then the rooftop just has a flat bottom, so you can attach it with tape or glue. It was the quickest solution I could come up with. I thought it was fine. In retrospect, maybe I would have merged the two parts and then just use support material for those snap fit nubs. But I think it's okay to use a little bit of tape, right? Like I pride myself in not having to use any glue or any tape, but sometimes it can't be avoided and you just want to get the thing done. So that's my story of the rooftop. I had fun designing it. It's like fun to see, fun to look at photos of the MIT Building 54 at the top and see all the little greeblies and stuff and design it in. I think it came out really nice. I like how it came out. Top of the building. Yeah, it looks cool. And once that top roof is installed, you snap fit it onto the top of the building and you can use the power switch, the slide switch to power on the circuit and start playing. We got a usage page out here just in case folks need to know what buttons what. We got a little legend here for folks. The A button's there, B button's there, starts over here. Once you play it once or twice, you don't need labels. You just know where they are, right?
Memory.
Yeah, memory. And then the score count is displayed whenever you pause the game. Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a little video that demonstrates the game, the project, maybe the grid and how it's assembled, that sort of thing. And then we'll publish it next week.
Maybe take a trip out there. No, too much traffic.
It all comes to weather. The weather right now here in Boston is like, it's still cold. It is, it's April, so it's going to be rainy and cold and that sort of thing. But maybe when the weather is nicer, maybe we'll go out there and take a look at the building. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of fun to put together. I'm going to put this up somewhere over here so that we can play it whenever we want. Yeah, this is very scalable. So if we wanted to make a bigger version of this, we could totally do that. It's non-destructive. So if I wanted to like tear this down, I could pop out the pebbles and use it in another project if I really wanted to. If it was somehow like back to the part shortage, you would want to do that.
Yeah,
a modular design, right?
It's usually when this happens. We're out of stock.
The feather.
We have the time. Something great.
Exactly. The only thing that's soldered to the feather is a slide switch, but most of the time you want to have a slide switch.
It's easy unsoldered.
Yeah, it just disconnects. You just disconnect that. You unscrew the screw block terminals to get rid of the NeoPixel strip, and you got yourself a board that you can reuse over and over again. So that's really nice. Yeah, I think that's the whole project in a nutshell. It's really fun to make a Tetris game. Cool. Do a photo of Spider-Man.
That's what it's missing.
That's a good
Spider-Man.
idea.
Maybe just add a Lego or
a little miniature thing of it.
Have a little Spider-Man attached to it to complete the look.
Yep.
Isn't that where the New Day Home, Next Day Home? No, Brand New Day. Where not Toby, the other one. Tom, yeah, where Holland goes. Does any apply to Go to MIT, or was that the?
I think so. Yeah, that is. I haven't seen the movie in a minute, but yeah, that sounds right.
Funny.
Yeah,
that would be appropriate.
No Way Home, Back from Home,
Brand New Day. No,
Brand New Home. I know there's a lot of homes that Spider-Man.
It's always home.
It's always home. Something home. Way back home.
PD 59.4. Excellent work.
Thank you.
We got Jeff Wagner also doing some LED stuff right now. Yes, LEDs. Always brighten the day.
Love LED projects. That's like our whole jam, man. LED projects.
Got a whole cast of LED characters.
You never run of fun ideas with LEDs. Yeah, stop me. I just keep playing. It's too fun.
No,
the highest. My challenge out here is if folks can get a higher score than 80. I was able to get 80 lines.
Now that's testing, huh?
Yeah, that was some real testing there. Yeah.
Oh man, my coffee's cold.
Yeah. Also, I'd love to see folks add on to it, add some levels, add some sound effects. I know Relic in the community made Fruit Tris for the Fruit Jam. And that's on a HDMI display. But it'd be cool to see maybe their take on a physical LED, game. It's just always fun to break this out of like a display and make it into a physical game that you can kind of carry around with you. I guess you could put this somewhere. I mean, it is portable, right? It's pretty cool. Yeah. So very fun, very fun.
Excellent.
All right, check out that Learn Guide. And if you want to pick up any of the parts that we just showed, you can get 10% off an order with our coupon code TRETROMINO. And it's valid for the next 24 hours. And we appreciate everybody putting in orders. Keeps us going here. Keeps the lights on. Keeps the lights in this building scrolling. Okay, that is this week's project.
Yay. Excellent recommendation, inspiration. I like how it completely detoured from what the original inspiration was.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like this, a little bit of that, and we smashed it together.
No, it's completely different from what it was from before.
Yeah. It's just going to be like a 3D print, a Time-lapse Tuesday, I guess, of the MIT building.
Yeah.
It's just like a square, right?
No, it's great because I never got around to it.
Yeah. All right, let me switch gears here. Oh, you got it. Thank you.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's What Are We Prototyping? Last week, we were showing off our little prototype BLE Beacon Remote. And here is what we got so far. So last week, we were showing controlling all of the BLE beacons that Disney uses in their parks. We're able to sniff the commands that they use and then translate those in CircuitPython to control NeoPixels as well. And beyond controlling, what it's doing is translating those into more fancier animations. So if the beacon sends out like a simple like LED, you can see here on the wand, the little rainbow on the NeoPixels, it'll convert it into like an animation. So do this little swirl, it'll do a little sparkle, and then it also comes with vibration controls too for the magic bands. They have little motors in there. So we have added functionality to that. Since these only work in the park, it's super cool to be able to bring these home and still be able to control them. So you have not only the bands, the wands, they have popcorn buckets, and then we saw someone who made like a custom backpack. That's really what gave us the idea that we could make our own. So on the listening side, we have a QT Py ESP32S3 that is in here that is listening to any of the beacon commands, and it is activating those. We have the LiPo BFF inside, so you can recharge the battery, and then a 1200 milliamp hour battery that's stuffed inside here. Doesn't have to be ears. You can build shoes or like a normal sized hat to have the LEDs being controlled. So as we're walking through the park, like multiple like parades and fireworks shows, light shows, statues, like window displays are all able to go in there and control the lights, which is super cool, especially like at night. We're just walking around and then you just feel the vibration on your band start going off, and then you notice the colors are changing. The range is about 30 feet. So we were in line or at crowds where I'm able to set off large portions of bands, which is always funny. We added like a little fart mode on there. So it'll like do like a vibration pattern, like a fart. It'll like toot a couple times and then one long toot at the ends. It was super funny to see people being the reaction on people's faces when we had it go off. So here's one of them. As you see here, the band is going off. So last week we were saying how we were going to try to get Claude to have the QT Py accept commands from the wand, and happy to show off that now.
This is so cool.
So as you're walking through, a lot of people had these wands because it interacts with everything that's going on there as well. So you're able to choose the color that you want. Let's choose like this yellow one here. You hold down the button to do the casting.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So it looks like it's actually just beaming out the command via an animation.
So it goes from one ear to the other one. It does a little swirl and then it sparkles. Choose like a blue color so you can see the differentiator.
So you can imagine creating your own like head wearable, maybe a vest, maybe a hat, maybe a jacket. You can have your, you can do so much cool stuff, especially with like these pebbles. You can sew them into something. So think about. I'd love to see what Aaron would come up with. Maybe she make some wings or something.
Wings, tutu,
So cool.
slippers,
top hat, whatever you want, man. It'd be so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And top hat with like a NeoPixel grid on it where it like displays words as well. So it's just taking a simple color command and then exporting something else out.
Yeah.
As you can see here, you
cast it. It's red. Boom.
Yeah, it's doing a little animation.
I'm curious, what is the input look like on the wand? What are the buttons? Like, is it just?
It's one button.
It's one button.
Just one button. So you just click or tap and hold. Yeah. And then you just tap once to switch between the colors.
Oh, okay.
Tap, hold down. That's the casting color.
Casting green. Pew.
So that is so cool. We're able to get those to communicate. We got some footage during the fireworks show, and it was so freaking cool to see all of it going because, on the band, it's cool. It's just, going through different colors. But because we have the fancy translation on the NeoPixel, it's just going through each ear. It's doing the little swirl. It's doing the sparkles. And, of course, it's matching to how the fireworks are shooting out, the color of the fireworks.
Yeah.
Like there is
you're part of the show.
Yeah. Disney's definitely spent some time on choreographing what the colors and the animations are and building new ones. So some of the built-in controls that we have for the QT Py, we have the boot button that is acting as a brightness. Look at this.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Here you can adjust by clicking on the boot button, just one click to go through the brightness levels. So, low, medium, and then high.
Yeah, that's great, especially in a low light. You don't want it to be at max brightness. Exactly. Also, you save on battery life too.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So we have a new custom case for the QT Py and the BFF. It's just a snap fit together case that has these little slots to have TPU flexible filament that acts as a little rubber band, so it holds the case onto your band or anything else. I added them to both sides and both halves, so you can have this as an attachment to have it, slot onto. I don't know if you want to, maybe build a bike, although you can't really ride a bike through there.
You can pimp out your mini scooter because there's a lot of folks that need assistive, tech. So that's an amazing. There's a big group of like wheelchair like pimped out stuff. Like it'd be so cool.
There's so many. Wow.
Like, if you're into the if you're into the AT makers group and you want to create like an experience at the Disney parks for folks that are in the accessibility, this is a great way to do that, to really make them a part of it. And then imagine them controlling it on their wheelchair. You would create so many good tears with that.
Bro, that's such a good idea. Like I almost get ran over by EV scooters every time at the park, and I never thought that. That's actually why I wanted to send you the band, so you could help come up with like more animations and vibration patterns. Because it's just having the thing in your hand and being able to control it through the remote gives you so many ideas on like what other things you can add. So one of those things that we added, because not all of the BLE commands were recognized by the QT Py, one of those is the new light show at the parade.
Which Magic one? Epcot? Kingdom. Oh, Magic Kingdom. Okay.
And Epcot. I think they're gonna use similar commands to find out what those commands are. We actually have a listening mode that is on the CLUE. So if I go down here, you can see we have a listening mode. So once we go in there, it'll show what is being broadcasted. So we're filtering out the ID that Disney uses. So if I just like shoot a BLE command here, you can see here that it's recording this, it's logging it and saving it onto the onboard file system on here in CircuitPython. And Claude made a custom file on here that enables the read-only and the write access. So when you load it up onto your computer, you're able to change files around and offload these and take a look at what the hexadecimal payload that Disney is using for the BLE. So I can go into, I'm using Claude to translate what those colors are, what the sequences are that the light shows are using. So any new light show that they come up with, we'll be able to decode those.
Right. Yeah.
So they're always adding stuff. And you can see here I've added 6 new light commands as I'm just scrolling through here and shooting out the BLE commands. You can see here that it's logging and saving those. So that's what that looks like there. And then when you're done, you hold B to get out, and you can see here saved. And there's the file name.
Oh wow, that's great.
Teeny tiny little text.
Yeah.
So we have a listening mode now, and that's actually how all the commands were figured out. Somebody took a flipper 0 into the parks, sucked all those commands down. Probably had to filter and sift through these. Since we are just building on top of that, we already know what ID Disney is using, so we're able to filter out. We're not grabbing like meta BLE commands or the phone, the
AirPods and headphones.
AirPods, yeah. So we're avoiding all that
Bluetooth devices.
All the Bluetooth devices that are going to be with 50,000 people around at the park. We're able to filter and just get all of the BLE commands. So we can decode those and get any additional new light shows to interact with the ears. So we'll be able to continue to interact with those and recognize what those are and get any new animations that they're using. Right now they're doing on Spaceship Earth, like it's like a big matrix display that they're doing on the ball. So they have like little like GIFs. Yeah. So they have like little like figures, the Disney figures that are on there.
Yeah.
They're like animating throughout the ball. So
that's great.
How we can translate that into the NeoPixel jewels, which it's just 2. Each one hooked up to a different pin, so we can do like the stereo effects to each ear. The CLUE, brand new design for this too. Before we had where the pads were exposed.
Yeah.
I tried using that for navigation, but I kept accidentally tapping.
Yeah, you want some of that tactile feedback. So buttons.
So it's only 2 buttons on the CLUE, but because you can have each one with the the button debouncers, it's actually, what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8?
Yeah, you can do a bunch of combos.
9. It's 9 different. Yep. So you have double click, triple click, hold down, and then you can click 2 buttons at the same time too to come up with your 9th button as well. So we have sleep mode on here. The battery is a 500 milliamp hour battery, but because we're doing aggressive light sleep that's supported in CircuitPython, it's able to last like over 2 days with the 500 milliamp hour. So you can see like every 30 seconds it goes to sleep.
Another input you got is shake. You can shake, and that's a different set of input.
So we have shake to do randomized. And send that over.
The audio feedback is great too. Getting like a bit of an audible, like, all right, I sent the command off, and you can
turn that off as well. So if you're like a crowded area, triple click to silent mode. Click to turn it back on, and then we also have, in addition to not only triggering things, you can turn things off as well. Get a shot of that. So you can disable or turn off lights as well. So you click and hold down the B button, and it'll turn off any of the lights that are around you.
Man, that's awesome to have a remote for your wearable. That's really cool. Yeah,
and not just the wearable; it's like all the devices around there around you. So I think of this as like how we use WLED on the Sparkle Motion. We're using the Disney protocol to act as a remote. So you have any of your LED wearables that react not only to your custom animations, but when you go to the parks too, it'll interact with those as well. Natively, if they release new wands or new accessory devices, it'll work with those as well, and that just adds to you're on vacation, it's all magical and like, whoa.
You know what? I just thought of a great idea. So let's say you haven't been to Disney in a while. you go there, you got your kid, you have a stroller, right? And you park your stroller. You lost your stroller. Oh no. Luckily your stroller has LEDs. You click a button and it lights up. So
idea.
your
Yeah.
kids no longer are in strollers, so it's hard to like
Yes.
remember those days, but having a stroller is a big thing. So
I
and people
still
test them out.
gravitate
People do add lights to their strollers. It's always cool, but to have
That
that
is
level of
such
interactivity
a good idea.
is super cool to have like this moving like light show that is interactive now with like the parade or whatever you want. You can cast to your stroller. It's just like this extra layer of funness. So that's another cool platform is the strollers.
See, that didn't even think of that one. That's
man. It's just the ideas are flowing.
Yeah. And then here. Oh, I'm live, Declan.
Hey, kiddo.
Yeah. Wanted to show some footage too of some of the.
Oh, you got some.
That's what we did. Yeah, it's just like what I posted on Basecamp.
Oh, okay.
Where's my? Did it go away?
We got about.
Oh, here it is.
Like maybe 15 minutes left. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, here's what that looks like. You already saw that, but
sometimes it won't.
I think the cool thing is the.
Oh, it's fine. Very good.
Yeah, I loaded everything before. This is what it looks like during the show. It is, like I said, spectacular. Having everything, like you see each stereo, year light up. It's matching what they're sending to the wand. All the wind force from the explosions of the fireworks is all matching. The beacons, I don't know if they have super powerful beacons or they have them all over because
they must be in every like pylon and pillars and whatever.
They go all the way into the parking lot.
Wow.
Is how far we were seeing the wands being affected. And here's one where just in line, you can see how everybody's band turns on.
They're like, why is my band on?
And popcorn bucket, like any of the devices that are able to listen and accept commands, works with. Here's just what the case looks like. We're going in. We already even seen this throughout.
Like a game of laser tag where you're like tagging everybody.
Yeah. Now everything looks like when that goes off. But yeah, because they didn't work on Spaceship Earth, I was like, oh man, I hope it works with the firework. And as soon as it went on, you see all the colors. I'm like, oh yes. Everything just working, and it's a beautiful night. Weather was good.
Right.
It's awesome that all that effort that it went into worked out.
Oh yeah. Sweet. So gonna keep working and hacking on it and doing more tests while you're at the park. Definitely pays to have the annual pass, so you just get to go in whenever you need to. So that's really cool. And it's super awesome. So another week or two, we'll get the guide out there and see what folks do with it. Really cool to hear from folks that are in the whole Disney sphere, see what they think of it, and see what kind of projects they come up with. Yeah.
The musical.
Very cool
scene.
Right.
So the case design, the cutie, even the bare minimum, just the updated case designs. I didn't even show off the inside of the cutie pie one, the way that it's all. We can say that.
Yeah, we'll save it for the next. We got about 10 minutes left, so we can start going to the next.
About that one. All right.
Yeah. Let's see.
Now we can go ahead and jump into this week's Community Makes or Time-lapse Tuesday, rounding off the Artemis 2 themed printing projects for this. Somebody made a very cute, not as cuddly because I tried printing it in flexible material and it was droopy, but the super cute NASA Rise plushie. They used this as the gravity indicator when they went up in space and around the moon. This was designed by, I think it was like an 8-year-old who had the design.
I actually don't know the story about it, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, it's got to glow in the dark.
Of course, it's a moon.
All right, so here you go. You got it. It's not a multicolor print. You actually painted it, or what's the deal?
Yeah, so we were gonna do like a shop talk at a time on my AMS, my feed funnel getting clogged, so I had to fix that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week then.
After I fixed it, I had like no time to reprint this. It would have been like 14 hours just for the dual color, but we got the details all painted on.
Definitely,
yeah.
Good to be skilled in painting.
So yeah, single color, but these are different PLA colors.
Snap in there. Okay.
Yep, they snap in, and then I just glued the separate parts on. Nice detail too. You got the footprint of the astronauts on the back.
Oh, that's funny.
Should write on there the Carol crater.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cute.
It is hollow, so you can use this as a I don't know,
like a diffuser for a lamp or something.
Diffuser for a lamp, yeah. The bottom, though, the flat part is a little bit small, so you could it will roll off. And of course, the detail for the hat bill on top as well.
So this is a model that's free to download, posted up by 3D Craft World on Maker Worlds. So you can check this out. Looks like it was put together in Fusion. That looks like Fusion, Autodesk Fusion, which we use. And here's the original plushie. And let's see, we got some text here. We got some features, multi-part design for clean multicolor printing. Got a couple print settings here. Fine surface details, requires a smaller layer height. Okay, or adaptive layers. That's a good note. And there's quite a few makes here. So folks are printing it out. Again, it's a free download. Folks can download it from the link in the description. And shout out to 3D Craft World for sharing their model.
Super cute. Super cute. There was another one that is on here, but it was not hollow. I really wanted hollow. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That was good. Very good.
And I like how the hat is removable. You can rotate it to have it be like a cool dude. All
right.
That goes on. This one's just taped on there right now. So it doesn't fall off.
Good. Very good. All right. That's this week's Time-lapse Tuesday. Check it out in the description. We'll get a link there. Also on Discord. Okay. We have 2 community makes that we have just enough time to cover. Starting off with a make posted up on our printables. We got a make of our 3D printed unicorn horn. This was posted up by Crispy Sock, and they have a very cute orange cat in the background there. And they got I think it's a Pico 2 maybe, and it's on the breadboard, and you got some nice stellar lights going on with our little horn there, our little 3D printed horn. People continue to 3D print their unicorn horn for various purposes. All right, and the last one to round it off, we got a make alert. This is actually John's design. John Park, JP put this together a few years ago. Now it uses a Feather Joy wing, and they added a separate board with a power switch and the green flexible LED bulbs, which are the LED filaments. That's a really cool addition to the build here. Very cool. And it's of course it's a Pip-Boy. It's a Pip-Boy 2040. It's inspired by the Pip-Boy from the Fallout video game series. And here's the original one from JP. And it's so cool that they added the LED filaments there. Very cool. It'd be fun to revisit this with Claude and just like go ham on all the sensors and stuff. You kind of already did that. You just with the data dispenser, you just make that into a wearable. It's got the little joystick and everything. Very cool. Good design, JP, and it's fun to see folks still build it. Get out of here with the ads. So shout out to Skynet Beta on Thingiverse for posting up their make of the Pip-Boy 2040. Very cool. That rounds up all the community makes this week. Thank you everybody so much for posting up your makes. It really makes our day when we see someone actually build our projects. Before I close out the show, just to remind folks that we do have a special coupon code for the viewers of the show. Get 10% off your order with Tetromino. Tetromino. Is it Tetromino? Tomato or tomato? Either way you say it, you still get 10% off your order. We appreciate everybody putting in their orders. All right, that's going to do it for the show. We got about 5 minutes left to spare. That gives us plenty of time to take any questions from the community. If anyone has any questions, comments, got a little bit. Yeah. I think everyone is good here. So why don't we round up and close out the show later tonight? I think we're going to do a show and tell. It's going to be hosted by either Mr. and Mrs. Lady Ada or someone on the team. We hosted, 2 weeks ago? And then Liz hosted last week. So somebody might host this week. We invite you to come on. Show and tell. It's 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Come on by the Adafruit Discord server to get a special URL to the StreamYard, and then you can join in that way a little bit before 7:30. And then tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time is JP's workshop. So you can come on by and hang out with JP, see what he's working on. Fridays are deep dives with Scott. And sometimes he'll switch roles with Tim, Foamy Guy. And but normally it's a deep dive with Scott. It's on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. Pacific. And then Mondays are CircuitPython weekly meetings. It happens on the Discord, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Tuesdays, we have 2 shows, 2 for 2. We start off with Deep Dive with Tim. Starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern time is JP's Product Pick of the Week, where you can get some really steep discounts on select products. I think that's it for the show. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. We'll be back next week with more projects, more prototypes, and some more shop talk, because I got this thing hanging out over here. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. We'll see you later tonight on Show and Tell if you come on by. But until next week, until then, remember to make a great day. Bye, everybody.